So this is not a very old information. Growing Indian fleet. So let's talk about the growth in India. Airlines in India are going to add 15% capacity or 100 to 120 aircraft per year. And the aviation sector is looking at close to 1,200 aircraft by 2027. The largest order ever placed by an Indian carrier is that of the Tata Group, Air India, with 470 aircraft, a mix of both Boeing and Airbus. And Air India will be the first to induct a very new type of aircraft, Airbus A350, in India. Additionally, Air India has taken on lease for the interim period 30 aircraft to meet the demand till it receives all its aircraft. Indigo will increase. Indigo will exercise its option that it has placed for 500 more aircraft, and Akasa, the newest airline on the block, who's got around 72 aircraft on order, around 20 have joined, Boeing 737 MAX, and they are steadily inducting those aircraft. I think they are inducting at the speed of one aircraft per month or 1.5 aircraft per month. So, how does the market status of Indian MRO industry look? The Indian MRO industry, as of 2021, was worth $1.7 billion. It is expected to reach $4 billion by 2031. Global market was $68.5 billion in 2021, and the global market is expected to reach $117 billion by 2031. It is very interesting to note that Indian MRO industry recorded a 8.9 CAGR compared to 5.6 CAGR globally. So we are growing very, very fast. The next slide is self-explanatory. You can see the APEC region growth for the next decade, and the chart shows China first, rest of Asia Pacific, the smaller countries in the Asia Pacific region, and India number 3. And I hope India will keep up this pace and it will stay this way. Now, I don't know if any of you have had the opportunity to go through the 339th report of the action taken by the government to the Parliament Standing Committee. And this was presented in the Parliament on March 13, 2023. The initiatives that were taken was import duty exempted on special tool and equipment for MROs, custom duty waiver that applied to spares only for airlines extended to MROs, simplified clearance procedures, processing parts, 100% foreign direct investment has been permitted by automatic rule for the MRO for last 10 years, but it has still not seen the light of the day. Slowly we are getting there. The government's intention is they have been talking to OEMs to put up facility either individually or in joint venture with Indian MROs. In that regard, Pratt Whitney has a joint venture with Air India engineering services. Uh, Safran has promised to put up an MRO somewhere in India, probably Hyderabad, and so on. So, relaxed restriction on utilization of duty-free part from 1 year to 3 years. This was done many years ago. Aircraft brought into India for MRO allowed to stay for from 1 month to 6 months without penalty, and this is a very good thing that is happening. Both uh, GMR and Airworks are getting international airlines to do their services, MRO services in India, and they are earning a lot of foreign exchange for the country. At the last count, I knew Airworks had around 11 to 12 aircraft last year under their foreign aircraft MRO, and GMI proceeded with around 20 of them. So this is a very good thing that has happened. This, the last one, is a very, very important thing that has come. Uh, the place of supply of MRO services changed to location of recipient to ensure a level playing field for MRO located in India and to incentivize the stepping up of MRO into India by Indian and foreign entrepreneurs. This was a very bad bottleneck for Indian MROs, which has been sorted out by the government in power today. And this will lead to tax saving and other facilities. Going on, providing a game-changing thrust to the setting up of MRO facility in India, the GST Council at its meeting held on 14th March 2020, just before the COVID hit, decided to reduce the GST rate on MRO services provided by domestic MROs with effect to April 2020, 1st April 2020. This, though there was a very good move by the GST Council, we could not take advantage of this for at least 2 years. So GST on domestic MRO services was reduced from 18% to 5%, giving MROs a return on investment of 13%. Subcontracted transition to domestic MRO by foreign MROs are now treated as export with zero GST. This is also a very good point. As a result, when a foreign OEM subcontracts work to an Indian MRO, the work done by Indian MRO amounts to the export of services by an Indian entity to foreign entity, attracting no tax. This is a very important part of the thing. From the morning, I was hearing all the panelists and speakers talking about uh, how are the MR coping up. So I am happy to tell you that total of 140 MROs have been approved by the DGCA till October 2022, out of which 27 new MROs were approved by DGCA since the GST has been reduced. So you see, with the fiscal benefit that MRO industry is getting, new MROs are coming in. This is only up to October 2022. I am sure another 10 must have appeared by now. Keeping in view India's growing aviation market, technology and skill base, the government announced new MRO guidelines on September 1, 2021, with a view of creating a congenial atmosphere in the country for development of MRO industry for aircraft, helicopter, drone. Now we have drone to be included in the MRO sector, and which some MRO, independent MROs, are working with drone and their engines and other parts. These open tenders without levy of any royalty or cess whatsoever nature to MRO operators. The new guidelines would further encourage MRO organizations and OEMs to set up workshop in India and create a conducive environment towards making India a global hub for MRO. We are very, very nascent MRO industry. We need, we have policies, but we have to adhere to these policies very stringently. Look at Singapore or Malaysia, very close neighbors of ours. They have developed their MRO industry, especially uh, Singapore, with a 10-year long plan, which we lack. And the government is aware of it. It is working towards creating a special plan for MRO, guidelines for MRO, and it is now the government's prerogative to invite uh, foreign OEMs to open up MROs, like I said, in joint venture or standalone, and the message has reached uh, the big guys of the OEM industry in India from the minister himself. So we can see more OEMs either in joint venture or with your joint venture or standalone MROs to be put up in India. The Admiral was mentioning about the military MRO, which is there in Goa for MiG 29s. They also are looking to come into the civil market, and they have contacted us yesterday alone, and they are now trying to quote and unquote the civil military convergence. That is how I see it. Skilling is a very big challenge, and the challenges that we face today are with this exponential growth of Indian commercial industry. The Indian MRO industry has to rise up to the challenge in coming year time. They should not only upscale the equipment and processes, but build up their logistics and develop their own ecosystem. What we are lacking in the MRO industry is a credible ecosystem that is, from a very small process to a large process, it needs a chain of things to happen. It has not happened yet. I'm sure it is going to happen in the near future. Another area that I see has to change is the many of you would know that OEM parts are being built in India. Say uh, rivets, I'm talking about small scale rivets and other things. They are built in India for the OEM, which goes out of India to their respective godowns, warehouses, maybe in Singapore or any other place. And then when the Indian airlines want to acquire those things, we have to pay in US dollars and we get stuck there. And AOG is always there. There are people who suffer, airlines who suffer from AOG, unless and until you pay them upfront, they will not give you the money. So the government is talking to OEMs to look to, as they are manufacturing here some parts. So they want to have warehouses in India, custom cleared bonded warehouses, from where the Indian airlines can take their supply. So now skilling and training, it's a school which is training. We are in an institute which is training aviation people, and I'm happy to be here talking to the youngsters. Skilling and training in MRO industry is need of the hour, and overseas MROs and skilling schools could participate in providing skill centers of excellence in specific trade using distance learning and virtual training. I mean, in the earlier panel, people were Arun from Pradhan was talking about modules where students can practically see and work on systems, engines, aircraft, hydraulics by a visual aid before they can go to a hangar and see the aircraft. So he was saying that OJT will go. Yes, OJT will go, but the DCA has to endorse it that the OJT has to. And the owners of the aircraft should allow the students also to touch and feel the aircraft, which they are not able to do at this moment. So that is what I have to say today on skilling. So let me go to the next slide, and which is very important. You know, aviation people around here, they know about bilaterals. Now, to tell you something frankly, I have been in aviation for the last 45 years. 11 years as the founder secretary general of MRO Association of India, and rest of the other decades I have spent as defense and civil uh, journalist on aviation. The, I have been to ICAO, I have been to wherever you say, IATA, ICAO and all. The bilaterals that are essential between two countries, they only talk about seat sharing, revenue sharing, and things like that. There has never been an effort by India to put in the engineering aspect in MROs. So what is happening? The lease agreements will be written by people from commercial and without taking help of the technical team, and the lessor would say, the lessee will say, I want to send my aircraft to Ireland or Singapore or Campo or Malaysia because my terms with them is correct. But here, the MROs not only have DGCA certification, they have what you call the FA and EASA certification. So why can't the airlines come and do the MRO here? So, in my opinion, between EASA and FA, DGCA, they should be accepting mutually. Okay? I think I have run out of time. I have one more slide, and which should tell you something about the thing that I talked about. GMR Aero Technique will undertake work of conversion of Boeing 737 from passenger aircraft to cargo freighters. Okay, GMR Technique you will find GMR Aerotechnic all the way. They have been very, very vibrant. GMR partners with Spirit Aero for an aftermarket repair provider for nasal components and radomes in India. Same GMR has provided. They are getting into license trading, and which is good because the Thakur School has tie up with GMR, and my friend from Thakur will endorse it. That they, after the training, they are taken as trainees in GMR, and they are offered job. So that is how the things are moving. Boeing and Airbus, uh, Boeing and Airbus accelerate MRO capability on the Indian Navy PHI fleet that Admiral spoke about. Boeing appointed Air and Engineering Service to do maintenance of two uh, Boeing 737 VIP squadron, and they also work on the PHI, I think on the tire part, the wheel part. Air and Engineering as an engineering engine maintenance service agreement which they signed last week between Willis Lease Finance Corporation to provide maintenance for the CFM 56 engines. GMR and Kunanagal have signed, this is the logistic part, they have signed an agreement for Kunanagal special, it's a Dutch company which specializes in transporting logistics, giving logistics for aviation products. So that is there. Uh, Next slide, and I think this is my last slide. Yes, it is. So, policy support. We have our NCAP 2016 and the amendment to it. However, we now need a aerospace industry transformation map. This is very, very important. R&D support. The government and the MRO industry should invest in R&D at least to start with 5% for new technologies such as artificial intelligence, augmented reality, etc. Encourage domestic firms to participate in developing products and services with 1:1 funding by the Government of India and the firm. Facilitate growth of a strong MRO ecosystem to support the Indian MRO industry. This I spoke about a little while ago. Develop, develop skill building for Indian industry. This is the temple of young people to be educated in MRO. There are many other areas which was explained by Mr. Ashwini Sharma, artificial intelligence and other things. Not necessarily one has to be a pilot or an engineer, in the sense that he has to take a spanner and wrench to go under the aircraft. He can sit on a desk and do what kind of or lots of things are there to be done. Data milking, data analysis, and everything. Artificial intelligence. So this is one thing. And the last but not the least, Government of India should urge. I am using a very mild word, urge the foreign OEMs and MRO to support the development of Indian MROs industry to transfer technology. As we speak, 120 crores is being transferred by an airline to a foreign MRO because the aircraft has gone there. We must stop the train of foreign exchequer. Fourth, thank you very much for having patience and having. I have ran past my time. I would be happy to take your questions offline. So I leave the floor to my friend. Well,
Thank you, sir. I know it for a fact that there is no one in this MRO industry who is more seasoned, experienced, and well connected as you are. I sincerely hope that your suggestions are taken into account and the implementation outcomes are in the nearest future. Being prepared for the MRO upscale in aircraft maintenance industry, safety is of paramount importance in ensuring the continuing airworthiness of the aircrafts and safety of the human lives. To educate us on the safety challenges in MRO and how to tackle them, I invite Sri Manoj Kumar Paidisetti on stage, who is the experienced government professional in aerospace engineering doctoral candidate. Stage is yours.
A very good afternoon to all the experienced aviation professionals and would-be aviation professionals, those who are sitting at the back in the uniforms. It is so lovely and it is so nice that hardly anyone is sleeping or dozing off after the heavy lunch. Okay, as we have seen in the previous panel discussions and the experts talk, it is noticed that the aviation industry in India is growing and it is expected to grow very faster than it was till now. Does it mean that we should take a back step in the aviation safety, or the concepts which are there existing since very huge number of decades of years? So I feel that we should get a, revisit what are the safety things we need to look into. So these accidents and incidents can occur at any place. It's not only to the up to the aviation or any other manufacturing industry or production industry. It is there at every place. And what are the tips which we are going to discuss here for the pilots and the maintenance crews and for the aviation professionals over here? I'm sure they are going to be very much useful for us. Oh, what is this? I think I made this presentation yesterday in the late night, so some mixed up. But are these the tips for the, for making a long-lasting relationship with our partner and spouses? Is it not similar to the safety factors what we need to adapt in the aviation? I personally feel it is. Let's get into our topic. As we have already discussed that in aviation and also in all the industry and also in our personal lives, we come across various incidents and problems due to very minor lapses on our part, which when we revisit those particular points, I'm sure that we can make the aviation and the industry safer and our relationships much stronger. And here in this presentation, due to paucity of time, I'll be covering only very few topics in it, but I will definitely, the kids over there, I'll definitely let you know from where you can find the rest of the points, which I'm not going to cover here. Fatigue. What is fatigue? The physical and mental exhaustion when we have prolonged days of work or lack of sleep, or you're tired and exhausted and still you're trying to keep yourself pushed to work more, you're tend to get into the fatigue bracket. So it can be a temporary or chronic also. When you're in the state of fatigue, it affects our thinking, our concentration, and also to complete our tasks. We will not be able to complete our tasks efficiently or to the level to what we think of that we should be able to achieve upon. So what are those factors? Some of them are like this. Lack of energy, mood changes, and I said poor decision making. In most of the sessions, which I have heard to in the past when I was a kid or stuff, we all know what the challenges are, but sometimes we miss out how to come out of those challenges. But I believe here we are not going to miss out. How to come out of the fatigue? We need to take enough adequate rest, and we should use various relaxation techniques which are existing, which we know in the yoga, the YouTube, and all of this stuff teaches us yoga and various kinds of meditations, which have been discussed over in our panel discussions also, which have been brought up for a small topic on it. And it is very much important for us to celebrate a very small milestones also, which will motivate us to look forward for the step in doing or leading to our next level or the next goal which we are intended to. Like in Airbus, let us suppose a engineer is there. Okay, he has been told, okay, Mr. Manoj, you are an engineer. You go there, bring me the FCU from that particular aircraft which is unserviceable. So I diligently went there, I put in my efforts, I have removed the FCU, I brought it to the place where it need to be, and when we replace certain component, there are some consumables which we need to change, I brought the component back. Then my manager said, what did you bring? I told you to bring FCU. Then I said, see, I brought FCU only. But what he meant was fuel control unit. But what I thought was, it is flight control unit. So this is because of lack of focus due to fatigue, or even the further topic which we'll discuss, we will bring this particular example again. As per NTSB, these are the accidents. These are few of the accidents. The root cause for these accidents was due to fatigue. One of the root cause, to be precise. Can we expect how many people have lost in these crashes? It's more than 100. Only these three I am talking about. And few hundreds of injured people too. Now let's go to lack of communication. What is lack of communication? As we can rightly see here, which leads to errors if we don't communicate properly, misunderstandings, which you all or maximum might have come across, not only in the professional lives but also in our personal lives too. And this lack of communication can definitely lead to a serious consequences. Why these misunderstandings do happen? It happens because of inaccurate information or incomplete information, or without a proper coordination among the various teams. This lack of communication can also lead to, missing the opportunities for innovations or the inventions and improvements, which this also decreases our morale and also job satisfaction. And as we have discussed, this definitely gonna affect our personal space also if you don't communicate well and with proper clarity with our partners or even with our kids or with our family. These are few of the challenges which we come across in lack of communication, which leads to poor coordination and collaboration. And as we have discussed the last example, we have wasted the resources due to lack of proper communication, not elaborating what is FCU clearly means. And in case if the manager couldn't find that what he intended and what the engineer has brought, that could have led to an incident or an accident. Now let us see what the tips are for this. We have to practice active listening. Oh, what is this active listening? We all listen every day. Let me tell you one interesting fact. It is proven that our mind, in the back of our mind, we process 800 words a minute, means the thoughts which comes into to our mind. So, but when we are listening to somebody, as you are doing for me now, what is happening? I don't say 800 words a minute. It is far less than 10% or so. So during that time, it happens that our mind wanders off when we are speaking. So it is very important that you focus on to the people, those who are talking wherever it is relevant and important. When there is a doubt, we are supposed to ask queries on it. And we should always express our thoughts. That's where we can bring the clarity on it. In the similar lines, these are few of the accidents which have occurred due to lack of communication, and as the root cause, this has been said by in the reports of NTSB, and as we all know, these accidents are almost, the people fatalities were almost near to 900, and injured people are almost near to 300 people. And the last point which I would like to discuss upon is regarding to the complacency. Complacency is the place where we feel that, okay, it is enough what we did till now. Where you feel reluctant to go to the next step. Where you are satisfied with our own achievements. Then where is the progress? Where is the looking forward for the next day? Or how will you feel excited to wake up for the next day? Yeah? It is a very dangerous situation. Being self-satisfied, apathetic, and unaware of potential dangers or challenges, being complacent. In other words, it is a feeling of contentment or comfort that can lead to lack of motivation or a failure to recognize potential problems. Here too, I am going to explain what are the challenges and what are the tips from which we can come out of that. Here, when we are complacent, we will feel stagnated. Our creativity is reduced, and we will resist to change. You know. So how should we come out of it? We should focus on self-awareness. Where do I stand? What is required? What need to be looked into? What should I do the next day, tomorrow? How can I progress myself? How can I take my organization to the next level? How can I make my children or my mentees to progress and go to the next step? And we should be ready to take the change. As said by Yuval Noah Harari in the book 21 Lessons of the 21st Century, within next 2-3 decades, it is expected that we cannot lead, or as we do now, the entire career I am into the aviation, until retirement I am going to be in aviation. But after 2-3 decades, it is not going to be the way the world is going to be. Younger lot remember this. It is going to change after every 10 years. It means today you are going to be an aircraft maintenance engineer. Tomorrow it may be required that you have to be, a doctor or a pilot or a software engineer or a developer or an inventor or an innovator or a teacher. So such is the pace the world is changing. We should be ready for that. If you turn out to be complacent, I'm sure it will be challenging for us to lead life smoothly as we have been doing now. And as we have discussed earlier also, this also has led to quite a few accidents, as people have lost huge number of lives. Does these points, whatever I am stating, is it only related to the present trend of doing the maintenance on the aircraft? No, it is not like that. The emerging trends which are in the industry, like predictive maintenance, as we discussed, augmented reality, additive manufacturing, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, remote maintenance, Internet of Things, digital twin technology. These are some of the emerging technologies in the industries, and of course they are the part of aviation also. In this emerging trends also, we are supposed to remember the points what we have discussed now, in order to ensure that we don't turn out to be complacent or fatigued or don't communicate properly and few other points which are going to be there. If you remember this, I'm sure we will be able to do wonders even with the emerging trends. And these are the trends which will be able to assist us to come out of these lapses or the errors what we could be doing now. So I said that there are three and there are few more. From where did I get these points? This is the dirty dozen. 12 of the most common human error preconditions to accidents and incidents have been found in that. Fatigue, lack of communication, lack of knowledge, complacency, pressure, lack of teamwork, lack of resources, norms, lack of assertiveness, stress, lack of awareness. If we generalize it and if we see that maximum amount of accidents and incidents wherever it has occurred, the root cause could be from 95%, it will be from one of these factors. See, does it look quite a simple thing? And if you remember these all 12 points and what are the challenges and how we should come out of it, I'm sure we will be able to make our skies safer, our professional lives very good, and our relationships much stronger than now what we are. So I just want only one thing from every one of us here is focus on at least one point of the dirty dozen every day or weekly, one point at least, and try to think of it while driving to work or in the shower or any place, which will not only make your professional or career life brighter, I'm sure it will make your relationships much more stronger. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening and not dozing off, and I'm ready for questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I sincerely believe that the required stakeholders and authorities take the lead and safety of Indian civil aviation is ensured. It is easier said than done. It is easy to give advice, but it's almost next to impossible to follow the advice and implement it to perfection. To discuss the challenges faced in implementing new age MRO solutions, I invite the following panelists to the stage. Shri Ajay Kumar, Managing Partner, KLA Legal; Shri Maniraj Rajagopalan, Associate Director, Lease Management, Indigo Airlines; Group Captain Sanjay Shah, Director, Government and Public Sector Advisory, Nange Anderson India Private Limited; Shri Vinod Kumar Shuklaji, Director Training, Go Airlines India Limited; Shri Vijay Kumar Jha, Chief Operating Officer, Drone Van Private Limited. Sir, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Purvi, and thank you, AVIAKUL, for this opportunity. I am really honored to be present here amongst the distinguished speakers. Uh, it has already been said that post-lunch sessions are very challenging. So we will try and keep it short and interesting so that people don't get bored. Uh, the topic is, of course, very interesting. Challenges in MRO. So I know there are very many experts sitting here who knows very well what is MRO and why is it important. But for those who may not know, what is an MRO? Why is it important? MRO is the one of the basic component of aviation ecosystem. So to simplify it, let's assume that you have bought a car. It can be a Maruti or it can be a BMW. You need to maintain your car from time to time, and you have used your car for certain kilometers, and then you're looking for a mechanic shop, and then you are told that, sir, we do not have a mechanic shop in this country. Take your car to Singapore. So this is what happens when there is no MRO ecosystem in this country. And this is what the airlines have been grappling with for many, many years. And kudos to them that they have done so well, despite lack of infrastructure in this country. And not only that, suppose the mechanic needs a component that has to be replaced to run the car. The component is not available in the country, and the component will come from the US. So you can well imagine the plight of the airlines. With this brief note, let me request our speakers to introduce themselves, beginning from my right.
Hi, good afternoon, gentlemen. So those who are sitting here, I know it's a very long sessions. You are continuously sitting here after a good lunch. A little bit the drowsiness is there. I'm seeing in some eyes, but to praise you all, that the AVIAKUL has given us a name, AVIAKUL. The now our Kul and Khandan is AVIAKUL. We are from the aviations. So new name has been given to us, that is AVIAKUL. Anyway, just to introduce myself, I am Vijay Jha. I am a craft maintenance engineer, and I have been in the Sahara Airlines and then after that Jet Airways for last 2 decades. And after that, I have done research over the drone, and I am the certified drone instructor also from the DGC itself. And now at present, I am leading the Drone Wind Private Limited, company based at the Noida and head office in Delhi. That's all.
Hi everyone. First of all, I would like to thank AVIAKUL for this opportunity. So before starting anything, I just want to have a question for the audience. So can you please tell what is the price of Airbus 320 or Boeing 737 aircraft? Just a guess. You don't have to come a accurate figure. Just a guess. Can any one of you please tell how much? In million dollars will be easy for everyone's understanding. It's very easy. Somebody said the right figure. How much is that? $50 million. Right. Okay. $50 million is the price of one Airbus 320. So can you guys guess me that how much you in its lifespan, how much amount you are going to spend for a maintenance? This is another guess, but who comes close by? Let me see. Just a guess. How much? 8 to 10% of $50 million. Okay. Anybody else, guys? Three options. He is completely out of the figure. That's why I'm asking somebody else. 10 times the cost of aircraft. You mean $500 million? They will go bankrupt. MROs. Another extreme. So, sorry. I'm now asking 20 to 25 years of complete service line. I'm talking about. How much of 50 million USD aircraft required for it to fly airworthy, being an airworthy? How much it is required in its lifetime? Simple question, guys.
The Google says 40,000 to 80,000.
40,000 to 80,000 USD. You are almost right. And every aircraft, let it be Airbus 320 or Boeing 737, equal to its value, market value, you have to spend on maintenance. Now you can understand the business involved in maintaining the aircraft. That's why I asked this question. A 50 million USD aircraft in its lifetime require 50 million USD to make it the safest machine in the world. So another simple equation I would like to tell here. Earlier, my panelists have already displayed you 700 aircrafts in India. So can any one of you guess? You should not use Google. That how many aircraft in China? Yesterday only we took over China in population. You guys, congratulations to everyone. So my question is, almost the population is same. Currently, our aircraft is 700 plus aircraft. That means accurately 714 aircraft. I'm only talking about commercial aviation. So how much, guys, can you guess China will be having? How many aircraft, commercial aircraft? Sorry? Almost, right? Anybody else? Yes. China have 4,500 aircraft. That means you can, this, why I am coming to this point is the amount of gap you can see. 700 aircrafts, we have 1,100 aircrafts on order. At least if you are touching half of the aircraft what China have, still we have 1,300 aircraft to bring inside India. So all our aircraft, that means you take all the airlines, we work under sale and lease back. None of the aircraft is owned by us guys. Hardly 5 to 10% owned by every airlines. Rest of the 90 aircraft we bring on lease. So why I am bringing this topic, we bring on lease, because when the aircraft comes on lease, it has to go out of India at any cost. So there involves the activities of MRO. Today, in the commercial aviation, there are only three big MROs in India. I can say GMR, Airworks, Indamar. Nobody else. Nobody else there in the picture. The amount what I told you, 15 million USD you have to spend for Airbus 320. Out of that, 40, 60 to 70% goes to engine shop visit alone for a performance restoration, for the LLB replacement. Engine alone takes 60 to 70% of your amount. That means it's close to 30 million USD. Then people, when they talk about MRO, I have seen most of the people focusing on airframe. But what is airframe? What Indian MRO capable to do in airframe? That is one sad part is Indian MRO can do all the maintenance work in the airframe, but they could not able to touch nothing in the nacelle. There's a big chunk of potential is there in the nacelle maintenance, shop visit maintenance, landing gear maintenance, APU maintenance. None of this has been done by Indian MROs. So that this is where I'm trying to come. The hub, the aviation hub for Asia is Singapore, and all their manpowers have been trained by Indians. Half of the manpower are Indian. So that means skill-wise, we are not lack of anything. Indians so far I have seen the best talented people in the world. Then why nothing is move on in a proper direction? Shop visit, we have 10 shops we are sending our engines. Germany, Singapore, Japan, China, none of the shops in India for engines. Millions and millions of dollars we are paying for engine shop visit. So that's what makes us so there is no foreign currency coming inward. It's everything, whatever we are earning in Indian money, we are converting into USD and we are sending out of India. And the lease amount is going out of India and the shop visit amount is going out of India. So that is so let everybody talk, then I will try to explain what are the things we have to do to counter this problem. So
Thank you, Manila. This was one of the shortest introduction I can. Anyways, thank you. I'm passing.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Group Captain Sanjay Shah. I have been working in Indian Air Force for almost 24 years, and after that, I quit prematurely. And then I had a short tenure with Accenture, and currently I am a Director Government and Public Sector Advisory with Nangi Anderson, which is an advisory and consultancy firm. And I head the aerospace and defense vertical. So I will leave it at that, and then we'll start into the hard talk.
Hi, good afternoon. I am Vinod Kumar Shukla, Director Training with GoFast. I am basically aircraft maintenance engineer having 25 plus years of experience. I worked in different airlines starting from Sahara Airlines to Indian Airlines, Kingfisher, in the Mar, and finally with GoFast. Uh, Basically, I'm looking after the training of engineering aspects, right from the basics training to the type training to the apprenticeship program. So all MRO related manpower issues I'm handling and doing some activity on that, all aspects.
Thank you, everyone. Malina has raised some very pertinent questions, and with stats that we are equal or more in population when compared to China, but when it comes to number of aircraft, we are far far behind. And when it comes to MRO facility, China is more or less self-sufficient. We are not. I know, as a matter of fact, that many airlines would send their equipment, airframe and engines, in for shop visit either in Singapore or including and China as well. So the first question that comes to our mind is that why has we reached this stage where we are only the kind of operator of the equipment, but we do not have the capacity to maintain the equipment within the country and to save the valuable foreign exchange. May I ask this question to Mr. Sanjay Shah first, before as to what you think, where are we lacking and what are the main challenges that you see for our industry?
Yeah, thank you, Ajay. In fact, I wish this was right in the beginning of the day, trying to figure out what the challenges are, and then throughout the day we would have discussed. Having said that, let me now reverse the order. Let me start with the solution first. Okay, so what should be the solution? What is the wishful thinking of Indian MRO industry today? What we want is a grand unified platform. One platform on which all the stakeholders are integrated seamlessly. When I say all the stakeholders, right from OEM to lessor to the airline operators, that even the parts owners, all of them should be able to exchange data seamlessly. Now, is it possible? The question is that yes, it is possible, but with a caveat. And at the same time, it is an utopian scenario, and it's a difficult slightly to achieve. And that is the reason we all are sitting here and trying to discuss what are the challenges, in order to make it happen. But if we try and see next door, has this been done earlier? The answer is yes. If we go back to Indian Air Force, and a lot of my colleagues from Indian Air Force will vouch for that we have a software which is known as EMMS. On EMMS, and also along with the EMOS, one takes care of all the parts, and the EMMS takes care of all the maintenance aspects. So yes, this is one software which is, you can say, the mother of all software, and all the aircraft, let it be fighter, let it be transport, let it be helicopter, all the data, let it be the process, okay, and everything which is related to the operations, MRO, everything is captured beautifully on that. And this, when Indian Air Force started, almost a decade back. And if Indian Air Force can do it a decade back, yes, the same thing can be done even in the civil world. But then, what are the challenges when we try to adopt a similar solution to the civil world? In the Indian Air Force, in the defense scenario, there's an ease of command and control. Everything originates from a single point. Regulations are much more easier, not from the safety perspective, of course. So when we bring it to the civil MRO industry, then there are a couple of major challenges. One of the major things is the lack of standard regulatory framework. Of course, ICAO and IATA, they do have certain guidelines, but quote unquote, their guidelines, wherein they talk about the best practices, what an MRO should follow. But why one solution should prevail over the other will be decided by the commercial and the market forces. That is one. The second part comes to the data. The data interoperability. Today we have plenty of software available in the market. Amos, iFlight, Ramco, Air Track. There's so many softwares are there. But the million-dollar question is: do this software talk to each other? If I send my aircraft to MRO A or MRO B, will I be have a clear-cut visibility of what the process it is going through, at what stage the aircraft is? The third major challenge which comes to my mind is the human factor. There are loads and loads of data, and these data entry points are also varied. Sometimes it is from the hard copy, sometimes it is Excel sheet. How these data are captured and how does it enter all this system? And then, because of data overload, also there is a problem with the training, and there's a hesitancy on the part of the technicians in order to assimilate so much of data. Of course, we have other technological factors which can help them resolve this. So having said that, all these three major things, the last but not the least, which has been debated right from the morning, is the OEM factor. Now, we want that OEM should clearly dissociate themselves from the MRO activities. To my mind, that is not going to happen. There is going to be always pull and push. OEMs, believe me, they have the money and muscle power. So definitely there will be, they have already thrown their hat into the ring, and they will have a major say in times to come as far as the MRO industry is concerned. Earlier, all the OEMs were involved in design, development, and manufacturing. But they have outsourced all the manufacturing. They are now into design, development, and integration. So they have plenty of time to get into MRO business today. And but the other positive side, what I see, there might be, what we are looking for, a unified platform, a solution, a common platform, might come from one of these OEM going ahead. Having said that, other two important things may be blockchain and digital goods. I'll be talking later. Ajay, over to you.
Thank you, Captain sir. Very insightful thoughts. Let me now go to Vinod. Vinod, would you like to add on something what Captain Sir just said as to what are the basic challenges that Indian MRO industry is facing at present?
Yeah, so I would like to look this challenge into three aspects. One is challenges from OEM side and regulator side. Other is from organization side, and third is from employee side. So in the morning we were speaking about the use of artificial intelligence, machine learning. So right in the morning it was discussion was there. Although as on date, any maintenance which is done on aircraft is defined as per MPD, MRBR program, and same is customized by the organization looking at local regulatory requirement, own experience in the form of ANP. You cannot deviate anything beyond that. And during development of this MPD program or MRBR analysis by manufacturer, although we do data analytics research and experiences from the industry, that is taken into consideration, and the maintenance requirement have been defined. Now the question comes where, like, one of the data scientists was available and asking the question that how we can utilize artificial intelligence and machine learning. So here the point is, although we can develop algorithm, we can have utilize machine learning to find out predictive maintenance requirement based on the sensors available. Now, whether those requirements which have been defined or predictive maintenance which has come out as a result is can be implemented or not. As on date, not, because regulation says that you cannot move beyond MPD program. You cannot move beyond that. So here the point is, first of all, these tools need to be made, analyzed, tested, and accepted by manufacturer. and then convinced by the regulatory authority of country of manufacturer, and then further accepted by the regulatory authority of country of operation, then only these tools can be adopted. Otherwise, as on date, it will be all on the talks. The results can be there, but implementation will not be possible under the current framework. So here the OEM role is very, very important, because once these tools are developed, the results are tried and tested and validated, then they can approach to the regulator of country of manufacturer and country of the operation. So that is one aspect where the OEM and regulator need to come into the play if you want to employ this current technologies and new advancement in the MRO solutions. Second aspect is organization. If we see as organization, like in India, we are very cost sensitive. Suppose if you want to employ any tool or software or maybe some predictive maintenance tool, whether it is a cost effective, the initial investment is too high. We have got cheap labor available who can do this job manually. And why I will employ such costly tool, whereas I am having the manpower available at my hand, I can do that. So also the maintenance and safety related issues, upgradation of these software is another important aspect which company is considering. So if we want to develop a world class MRO, as you are saying that we full the amount of aircraft, the cost of aircraft, same amount is going for the maintenance. So if we want to develop world class MRO, get business from outside, definitely we need to apply such tools and optimization and efficiency of this manpower and materials and infrastructure. So looking into that, if organization want to imply, then the first is intent to imply. So the intent to imply should develop looking at the future business of outside MRO and doing 100% MRO business of India within the India, which is not as on date. So these kind of tools are required for implementation. Once organization has decided, yes, I will employ these tools in the organization, fine enough. Now comes to the implementation part. So the organization, if we want to implement, okay, as top management decided we go for this kind of software, this kind of tools, but if we don't employ these tools in an effective way by buying in all the employees of the organizations, then it becomes a digital dust, because nobody is going to use it. We are, as a human being, we are very resistant to any change. So if you want to change, we need to involve all the people, right from all stakeholders, right from the beginning, discuss with them, bring them on table at the initial discussion, and then you need to do the management of change, which is related to all the technical aspects, and second aspect is change management, which is people related changes which are required to the organization for implementation of this. So this need to be looked in a holistic manner, and organization agility is very, very important to that, to adopt those changes. Now when we are doing that, there are people inside organization with aging staff, they're not very tech savvy, they're not going to adopt that. So we need to take in more tech-savvy staff, bring them a pairing method, make them a champions of change, and small achievement, small. Suppose some process we have digitized and that is implemented by one staff. If we not celebrate that achievement and make them a big change, celebration of the organization, then other people will not involve into this change. So we need to look at this soft aspect, very, very important. And by doing so, you are encouraging other staff to come as a part of the change. And if we keep on doing so, then other staff, they will join this revolution by fear of missing out FOMO. So they need to come in line and do the things and implement the changes. So if we look into these aspects, then the after decision of implementation, organization can go for the actually implementing those changes at a ground level and a working level the people. Now the question comes, although we have technologies, but we don't have a proper training. People are ready, but proper training is not there. If we do a normal communication to all the staff, same standard of communication, then it will not work. We need to have a customized communication. What is required in this for stores people? What is required in logistic purchase procurement people? What is the process involved for the maintenance people. So the communication must be very customized. The training program will need to be customized. We need to use the proper training technologies like AR and VR while we are adopting these changes. Let's take an example. As on date, when we are doing boroscopic inspection, then some damage was found, and that can be corrected by a blending known as boro blending. So as on date, in all the organization, there is no expert available in India. I can say I may be wrong, but by and large, I'm saying there is no expert available in India who will actually perform boro blending. We may have a boro tool, but what we are doing, we are asking the OEM, asking the Indian overall facility to come do the boro blending using this equipment, and then our engineer just signing on the behalf of that work done by others. So we need to look into the special skill training to the staff, existing staff, to use these advanced tools, advanced things available. Right now, for composite repair, all aircrafts are going composite. As on date, we don't have any advanced composite repair facility and expert people for composite repair. So these are some areas where we need to train the current people to get into this specialized task. And last thing which I am saying, that because the people who are coming into this organization, any organization, they are coming from basic AV issues. So as on date, the people who are coming, I may be very blunt on that, but we as a parent, we see that our children, when he is doing 10 plus 2, he will go to IIT. Nobody is aiming to do for AV course. The one who is not going anywhere is coming to AV course. I'm very blunt. Nobody is having passion that I will write from the 10th class. He's saying that I'm aiming for AV course. But if you see the technology in aircraft, it is one best technology in communication, best technology in manufacturing, metallurgy, best technology in all branches of engineering is employed in the aircraft. Whereas people who are coming into this field are those who are not selected anywhere. We need to, as a MRO, as an organization, as a country, we need to emphasize and popularize such course that dreams should come into this field and best brains should come into this field, and then they will do the best of the work. And also after doing the course, the people are after completion of the course going somewhere as apprentice, somewhere, okay, somebody got apprenticeship in a quality, then he becomes a quality engineer. Somebody got something in camo, then he becomes camo staff. Somebody is working as technician. So the people going into different sections are not going by choice, they are going by chance. So we need to, as an organization, as a country, as a forum, we need to look at the right product in the beginning. If somebody is interested in repair, let him utilize his whole time in the getting the knowledge about repair. Somebody is interested in the quality activity, let him engage right from the beginning. He is not wasting 2 or 3 or 4 years of time into other area, and finally he is landing up in the camo functions. So we need to identify the correct talent at the right time, groom them, train them, utilize the latest technology to train them on the required functional area. So that will actually solve out this problem. This is what I want to say. That if we see this holistic approach, then these challenges can be, we can come out over the challenges.
Thank you, Vinod. I can see some of the members in the audience are sleeping or yawning. They must know that there's a huge penalty for this. Also being captured in camera. So be careful. So I come to Maniraj, for his expert comments. But before that, let me just go to Vijay for his initial comments as to what do you think is overall challenge in MRO industry in India? Why we are lagging behind?
Okay, much has been told by the Captain Sai and Sah and Vinod. So I'm totally agree with them regarding the issues and challenges they have faced and the solution they are also providing. But I will take you to the other journey of that, other journey of the aviations. I'm telling you about the drone application in the MRO. Why I'm talking about that MRO industry means how can we save the cost? The cost is the major factor in the maintenance and even in the MRO, always we are thinking of the cost saving. Okay, so the application of drone is initiated by the OEM itself. I'm telling you, Airbus has made the drone, and they are using their hangars, and they are taking the advantage. So I have the possibility of both the experience. You know that I have been 2 decades. I have been an aircraft maintenance engineer, and then I have seen the drone. That was in my thought. Why not? I should make the indigenous product in India without copying any else. What are the specifications? Because I have faced from the grassroots level to the mediocre level where I have seen the aircraft maintenance. How can we can save the your time and always the cost that has. Now we have made the prototype for that. Now see the challenges, where the challenges actually comes. I'm giving you just example for that. Challenges with the regulatories. How you can ensure me that this drone will not have any collision with that? Okay, sir, these have the OBS system. These are the things I have explained all this thing. Who will give the guarantee? Sir, our papers, so we will give you the demo of that, and you can verify yourself. Okay, if and but there were so many questions. If and but how you will inspect that rudder trailing, the leading edge, what will happen, how will you do the autonomous flight, what kind of read you will use to see all these things, does it has any effect over the antennas or not. So there are so many challenges. Okay, that challenges have been overcome by us that with our company guide who are having the experience of all these sort of things. They are expert of all the things. So we have made a complete blending of, you can say, the artificial intelligence and machine learning, and then even for the interaction of interface IoT devices. Luckily, our guys are here only who have worked at the backstage. These all are the unsung heroes. Still, we have to face the challenges with the regulatory and the operators also. So I would like to give the big round of applause to all these unseen heroes. Kindly stand up and let's see all these guys. I would like Pranay and all these guys to please stand up and see these all are unsung heroes who have made the things to be released for that. But still, we are facing the challenges at that level. I am telling you, I have shown that the 20 to 30% of your maintenance cost will be saved by the drones. Okay. Now, the inspection times, I can say you the 70 to 80% you can reduce your inspection time. Okay. We have seen that. How it can be, there are still questions. Yes, if it will happen, then what will happen? There are a lot of challenges, of course, I am telling you. But thing is that we have to see at the one-to-one sessions, and we will see in the abhi nahi hoga, that is not the answer. You further research more, that is the challenging factors. So that is not motivating us, rather it is giving me a one step backward. These are the challenges. I tell you that we are struggling hard with all these things, and we will definitely come with our indigenous products. How long anybody can stop us when you have the complete thing of that? Yes, I can do. You can do the NDT also. I'm also planning for the NDT. We have our research over that, how you can do the NDT with the drones. Not all the NDT factors, rather, which can be possible. How can you do without damaging all these things? You are keeping the safety at the prime factors. So these are the things where I can see that the MRO operators should come forward and give us some time to have a dialogue with them, one-to-one about research, about the research we have, and we can definitely show you that how much you can save the cost. So I am giving you the one aspect. Other aspect that we have told you that certain things are not happening in India. It is happening in abroad. So certain trainings are required. Of course, that is the your OEMs. You can say that they are not giving everything to you. That you can become the trained and start doing all these things at your own. So these are the things where we have to struggle. But I think that if our regulatories and the operators, they are agree with at one point. There are a lot of things to come in aviation who can ease the task, and we can have the precise results, and we can do far better than our some neighboring countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. I will now go to Maniraj. Maniraj, you represent Indigo, of course, very fabulous airline, and you hold the largest share in Indian aviation market. And of course, you operate, a huge fleet of aircraft, and nobody can understand better, when it comes to MRO than you. So please take us through, your experience and Indigo's experience and the challenge that you face from, lack of skilled people to taxation to government policies. Please, just enlighten us on all of these. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, our current fleet, if you look, it comes close to 310 aircraft. Okay, so almost all the aircraft, I already told you that Indian market poised for sale and leaseback. So after the end of the sale, the aircraft has to go back. Other than the major C checks, you just look into the redelivery checks. We call it as a redelivery checks. Okay, that is very very mandatory to perform in every aircraft which is getting redelivered. So that cost, if you look at the redelivery cost, it is so huge. I cannot reveal that figure. So I have seen here, my previous member has displayed in the displayed that India is a 4 billion market, poised to become a 4 billion market in 2031. But if you bring all the shop visit, landing gear, APU, NASA facilities within India, it will be a 40 billion market in 2032 for India. 40 billion market, just like that we will reach. All we have to do is joint venture. See, when Amazon CEO, Jeff Bezos, when Google, our Ambani ji, when they are not coming into any market, you can easily find out that is a very challenging market. Thank you. That is very challenging market. Why? Because the MRO or airlines, they are very capital intensive. You have to pump billions and billions of dollars to set up one MRO, to set up one airlines. So that is the reason our MRO has to go on joint venture. If you look at Singapore, ST Aerospace, Sepang Aerospace, you take LST Philippines, you take GM of Garuda Airlines, you take Turkish Technique, you take Etihad, everybody started as a joint venture. Because to gain the confidence of lessor who gives this aircraft to you, you have to show them, Baba, just look at here. I have already made a joint venture with these big MROs. There are KLM open for this opportunity, airframes open for this opportunity. And recently we had a discussion with Safran. Safran want to enter into a landing gear market within India. They are ready. They are looking for a joint venture with the Indian organization. But I don't think so anybody has contacted them. You look at the Messi and Doughty, propeller, they are willing to come. You look at everybody landing gears to APU, everybody want to put their fingerprint in India. But this is the right time for the Indian MRO to tap this opportunity, and they should go on joint venture. Then the second topic, as he told me about the skilled manner. So Vinod has already clearly told that skilled people, we are in lack of skilled manner, especially in structure, especially in structure for each and everything. We are sending our components to out of India and getting back to India. I recently gone across Lufthansa Technique, Collins Aerospace, and Honeywell agreement. So those people came to Indigo and we had a discussion with them. So I happened to ask them, so okay, where is your plant? Who does all these repairing? They said it's in Germany, it's in France, it's in Toulouse. But I asked them then what exactly you guys do here? They have only their marketing team sitting in India. Such a sad news for us. Marketing team, They are here, only Indians are sitting here. They are taking orders. Every single component which has been exported to Germany or other countries. I asked them, why don't you start a setup over here? Just here, it's, two things. Turnaround time of the component is so huge. One engine turnaround time means I am not telling anything about the job which is happening in the shop. Only the transport time for a one Pratt and Whitney engine, it takes 2 months, guys. Will you believe me? If the aircraft is getting grounded, you are sending your engine. The induction happen at the shop visit only after 1 month. Then the day it got dispatched from the shop and you are installing in your engine in 1 month. In between 2 months, I'm wasting only in transport. That's what I mean. See, when you come inside India, I don't want India to be a global hub, but I want India to be an Indian hub first of all. All these 700 aircraft servicing has to happen within India. Make in India moment, and this is the time to happen. So, as our Prime Minister used to say, make in India movement. This is the for India. You consider the GDP growth. We are averaging more than 6%. We have almost reached 9% last year. So all these things are coming up. Convergence is happening. Government have already instructed us to explore the possibility to set up a leasing company in the gift city Ahmedabad. We are in talks with the lessor. We are asking them, what do you want? You tell us. We will convey the same to our government. We want you to set up over here in gift city. Why you are sitting in Singapore? See, our biggest competitor is Singapore and China. China you can leave. Singapore. Instead of sitting in Singapore and managing all these 700 aircraft, so why don't you come here and sit here? Their main concern is tax. All you know, tax. So until unless you are going to give some tax incentives or some waiver, these none of the big shots are going to come to India. So that has to taken care by Ministry of Civil Aviation, and it has to taken care by the major stakeholders. The airlines can do nothing with this because the policy maker has to come down and they have to get to the groundwork. Just imagine the $1 billion of foreign exchange money we every day. Just a year back it was 75 rupees, now it is 85 rupees. You every shop visit, you are converting that money and paying the shop visit in USD. There itself we lost so much money when we do the transaction. So joint venture and improving your skill manners and developing your developing your policy. These are the main things what I believe supposed to happen immediately within India. Thank you.
Thank you, Maniraj. So as we can see that you rightly said that joint venture is the way to go forward. We need to join hands with the foreign OEMs and foreign MROs so that they can be, transfer technology where required, and they should come and set up their shops in India. You mentioned Gift City that government of India has already started giving some sort of tax incentive. They are inviting lessors, manufacturers, banks, and other relevant partners to come and set up shops over there. The gift city tax incentive is as good as anywhere in the world, and we hope that India will be greatly benefited by this gift city incentive. Um, I have a question for Captain Shah. Captain Shah, we are talking about civil MRO situation that India is not self-reliant, but very quickly if you can tell us because you have a defense background, uh, what is the situation when it comes to defense aircraft? Are they also reliant on foreign MROs, or do we have some capacity in India?
In fact, when it comes to defense MRO, everything is captive and it is much more simplistic. Because whenever we acquire the aircraft, in fact, it is taken as a complete whole life cycle management under that policy and scheme. So whenever we induct any aircraft, all aspects of MRO and the spare parts management till the end of the life is being catered right in the beginning. Having said that, still there will be a lot of challenges as we move ahead. Like today, if I talk about the Russian fleet, in fact, Indian Air Force and for that matter, even the Navy and even Army, they have a lot of reliance on Russian equipment because most of the equipment what we have is a legacy and Russian equipment. And the kind of situation which is prevailing in the geopolitical scenario, the Ukraine and Russia war which is happening for last year, it has put a lot of strain on our MRO, the defense MRO. And today it is the apt time that we should be talking about the convergence because here is the time wherein this civil MRO can step in and they can provide succor to the defense forces. But at the same time, there are a lot of other best practices which even the civil MRO can pick up from the defense setup. Now, coming to some of the questions what you had asked earlier, one of the questions went unanswered, and of course, I have two comments also to make. One is why, in general, the MRO didn't do well in India. Money is very right. Taxation is one of the major issues which were plaguing the MRO industry. If we talk about we have the best of the talents available. Our workforce is cheap. I would be incorrect in calling it cheap, but I would say reasonable. So, considering all this, and plus technologically, from software point of view, we are very good. Still, why didn't we have a big MRO? So, if you go before NCAP 2016, National Civil Aviation Policy 2016, everything what Indian government, MOCA, Ministry of Civil Aviation, was doing was wrong. It was grossly incorrect. What they were doing, all the policies, GST of 18%. See, if there's very wafer thin margin for in MRO, and if a guy is getting $1 also benefit from Singapore or for that matter Sri Lanka, the aircraft will definitely fly off to those countries. They will not stay in India for servicing. So GST was one. The tooling requirements were very harsh. The components which you could get, again, a lot of taxation on that. The time period for which your aircraft could stay in India was also very skewed. So all these things were corrected in NCAP 2016. And after that, till the time all the MROs started consuming all the things and getting into the policy mode, COVID. And then after COVID, now we can see certain growth potential considering all these things have been corrected. But still, having said that, there's still quite a lot of policy support from MOCA as well as DGCA. The other observation, what Mr. Jha has said, and he's trying to get drones for maintenance activities, and he's facing a lot of challenges. I'm absolutely with him. And here, unfortunately, DGCA is playing second fiddle to FAA and EASA. Last month, I was in a conference on urban air mobility. So there we have one E-plane, which is battery operated, unmanned, which is ready to take to the sky. And there are a couple of other operators also around the world. So when we ask DGCA officials, when are you going to give this E-plane approval type certification? So their very simple answer was, if you have it, if it is done by FAA or EASA, then it's fine with us. So why? Even same thing Mr. Jha must be facing. So it's easy if you have a product, you go to other country, get it certified there first, and then you come to India, and then DGCA will put a rubber stamp. That is one of the major challenges which most of the new technology we are facing. I'll give you another example. Blockchain. So it's a wonderful technology as far as the track and trace of any component or any process is concerned. Aviation industry is marred with a lot of fake components also. There are ways and means wherein these fake components can enter the system. But if it is captured on the blockchain, each and every component will have all its history, right from cradle to grave. Everything will be beautifully captured and it will be immutable. And if anybody is trying to, do anything incorrect that will also be captured and it will be visible to everybody. So with this particular solution, I won't name which MRO, but one of the leading Indian MRO went with the solution and we tried, for them to adopt, but the answer was no. So here, even I don't blame that MRO setup, but one of the major hurdle what they must be thinking, what if they adopt this technology, how the regulators, how the regulatory body is going to take it, how are they going to consume it, and how are they going to clear the aircraft, carry out the audit. But on the other side, if you see, if anything you capture, your process and your part traceability is there on the blockchain, it is end of the day, it is self-audited document. The auditors, it will make the auditor's job very, very easy. Within click of button, within few seconds, if I may tell you, it requires only 8 seconds to verify all the data if it is captured on the blockchain. So yes, so I sympathize with Mr. Jha when he talked about that. The other part was regarding digital twin. Somebody talked. That is another wonderful technology. Mostly, it is currently people are working in the realm of engines. G Rolls Royce, they are the leaders as far as the digital twin technology is concerned. So whenever your aircraft is flying, a digital twin sits on your computer, on your iPad, on your laptop, on your mobile for that matter. The only thing is, every 1 hour of flying generates few terabytes of data. And how are you going to consume those data? This is very, very important. That is where big data, data analytics, AI, ML, all these things, technology comes to your help and rescue. So digital going ahead, you will see more popularity because it can give you a lot of solutions. Predictive maintenance, what the youngsters are, they were interested in the beginning. Yes, it will tell you how long, which component is going to fail, when, though human intervention would be required to sometimes overwrite those data, but yes, it's there. Now, last but not the least, what Vinod said that okay, the best of the best goes around, and the aviation industry is expected to have the best of the talent. So those the backbenchers, please don't take it as an offensive. What he meant is today, all of you, those who are sitting in the backbenches, you are the best. Okay, so take it that way as a compliment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raj. I absolutely agree with you that government policy needed to change a long time back, but thankfully they have changed. They made some of the amendments. For example, earlier if an aircraft is imported into India by an MRO for maintenance, and the aircraft stays more than 1 month period, then there will be some taxation on that particular equipment. So now you can imagine who would want to send the aircraft into India. Similarly, the GST was 18%, whereas in overseas countries it was 5 to 7%. Now the government of India has changed to 5%. So the government is listening. I hope that whatever is being discussed here, someone in the government is taking a note. And in the interest of time, maybe I'll ask one last question to Maniraj. But I would like to tell the audience that after this, we will be open to take your questions. So keep your questions ready. Maniraj, what is that you would want from the government of India? What the government can do to promote the MRO ecosystem in India?
So currently with the government, I am seeing is they are engaging with the airlines, they are engaging with the MRO, and they are asking the sharp parts. What is the reason? How we can go ahead further? But in terms of the but in MRO sector, I don't think so. Government has so far focused much compared with the airline sector because government has already they have already forecasted that close to 1,500 aircraft supposed to come within India, and so much money involved in this case. And I have to tap the leasing market. But in MRO sector, first of all, what I would suggest to you is, especially the one, as I said previously, when the joint venture goes, the people who like now already FDI is open for 100% in aviation. So as you all aware of, so that is one good move, good thing government has done. Then the next thing, what I am seeing is, especially in MROs, the custom duty. Example, for same aircraft job MRO activities while I am carrying out in out of India, the parts I am procuring doesn't have any custom duty. But at the same time, when the parts coming into the India to service the aircraft which has been already leased to me will get custom duty. So that is a huge cost. See, there are two different costs. First of all, fixed cost and variable cost. In variable cost, the over and above charges is a huge cost, which involves labor charges and material charges. But if you look into the material charges, we are paying huge custom duty, which is half of, sometimes it comes close to half of over and above this. So government, when any part numbers which has been particularly imported into India, but that is already existing in aircraft manuals, it has been imported with some purpose. That means for some replacement or some rectification, whatever it is. When that has been shown to the government, they have to waive custom duty for the MROs. That is one important criteria request from my side to the government regarding the custom duty. Then the second thing is, as he said, GST has been already down from 18% to 5%. That is one good movement, good thing which has happened. But on top of it, the MROs which is coming and engaging with the Indian MROs as a joint venture is expecting more tax relaxation and more incentives. So incentive can be anything like profit sharing and a 0% tax, and the high profile people whoever comes here and train Indians, they are expecting a waiver in their income tax as well. So these are the things government has to engage with the MROs and have to make a separate policy for the MRO. See why I mean a separate policy for MRO. The reason is the amount of money outflowing and inflowing within India. So it's a huge. That's the reason why I want government has to take action to bring MRO as a global hub. Thank you.
Thank you, Maniraj. Customs duty indeed is a pain point when it comes to importation of parts and other equipment in the country. So, as promised, we are now ready to take questions. So, please raise your hands. Yeah, can someone mic please?
Hi, my name is Amit Mittal. I have been in the aviation industry for 16 years and seen that leasing financing very closely. I used to work with Bank of Baroda as AVP Aviation and worked very closely with Krishan Bhargav and other people in the Indigo and SpiceJet and all the areas. We worked very closely with the Gift City initiative on the regulation part, as I know in and out what's the problem there, why the leasing companies are not taking on. One of the primary reasons is that the Indian airline operators, although they keep on saying that they need tax incentives and the GIFT City has done a wonderful job of doing tax parity, in fact, in some cases better than Ireland. Indian airline operators, they want to do a sale and leaseback at 0.6%, 0.7%. And then they blame the government of India and the leasing companies here that we are not able to do business. Are the Indian leasing airlines willing to come forward, join hands, and give a, let's say, 0.5% additional lease rental to support the country? One is that. Second is, you talked about Safran setting up, wanting to set up a, suggested that I've been privy to Safran and know what their landing is all about. It is mainly a seller furnished equipment. It is a monopoly which they've got, at least on the landing gear part, for the 320 and 737. When you talk about they setting up a joint venture here, Indian Airlines having 730 aircraft, another 1,000 aircraft coming in next 3 years. Why the Indian operators are fighting among themselves? Why they are not joining hands and forcing the aerospace companies or like China to set up their shops here in India? The problem is with the operators as well. Every time blaming the government and the system is not going to work. the operators also have to come forward and support them.
Thank you, Amit. Your question is directed to any particular person?
I'm there's one guy sitting from Indigo here. I don't know about the other.
Okay, okay.
Uh, Thank you for your question. I understood, and I understood the importance of. Sir, you want to ask something? So I understand the you exactly said that operator has to help. So we are engaging with really, to be honest, we are engaging with OEMs, but the problem is our primary thing is airline operation. Okay, you can ask me another question. 16 years down the line, Indigo has done. Indigo don't have a MRO so far. But it is not because that MRO is not there, because we have so many changes happening in and out. We are busy with those things. So we cannot specifically invest more money in Indian MROs. Let me come to your point. So as I said, like airlines, MRO also a capital intensive and it needs special skilled up people. But we are moving ahead. Actually, you might have recently heard the news that we have opened two hangars in Bangalore, and we are in the process of obtaining C-check approval for the same. So Indigo is going the right way, and at the same time, I have seen my finance team have already engaged with the lessor to come to Gift City. But one biggest drawback, I would say, because they have already made us complete setup in Singapore. Now every lessor have a complete setup. You start from Chinese lessor, BOC, CDP, you take the SMBC, World Giant, AirCab. Everybody have a complete setup made in Singapore. So being working from Singapore and be working from Ahmedabad is not going to make a big difference for them unless they get some more margin. See, from the business perspective, I am talking about. If they are moving their setup from Singapore to Ahmedabad, they expect something. Why? Because already the job which is supposed to happen, it is happening from the Singapore. But if you want them to move into the gift city and invest some more money, it needs a lot of challenges. You need some attractive. You have to give some perks, some incentive, unless nobody is going to come up.
So it is like a chicken and egg story. It is like that the airlines are saying that the leasing company should shift from Singapore or Dubai or Ireland or Tianjin or Shanghai. Why would their people who are already doing a job there want to come to India? So it is a political question. Let me put it very straightforward. It is not a commercial question. The second thing is that the airlines are also not willing to disturb their relationships and do hard work of doing the leasing from India. They are only in a comfortable zone. For the last 15 years, they are having their relationship with those guys in Singapore or Dublin and other places. You are not willing to give that 0.05% even extra to a leasing company in India, knowing the fact that the cost of capital of raising money for a leasing company in India is higher than the cost of capital of a company based in Singapore or Dubai.
Thank you, Amit. Let me just come in on behalf of Mahiraj that airline business is not a simple business. He already mentioned that the main purpose of the airline business is to operate the passengers, ferry the passengers. But MRO, of course, would develop with time. So I can take maybe two more questions. I know Parveen is warning me again and again. Yes, someone please pass on the mic.
Good afternoon. Just trying to understand. Uh, First, I agree that leadership in taking major business decisions is lacking in India. The second part I come to is when you look at the skilled manpower, what according to you is a deficiency of skilled manpower? Like, what is the envisaged deficiency for the coming decade in a stepwise manner? Secondly, the large number of technicians of defense forces we have spoken, and now we have people from defense as well as from civil. So once they leave the defense forces after having served, what is the exact challenge in converting into civil? And if you can bring out those policy or the procedural or the training challenges which can fill this gap between the defense and civil. Now, when I talk of defense, even paramilitary forces have got large number of helicopters and other things. can they be the fillers? Thank you.
Yes. As far as the what is the definition of the skilled manpower? That was your first question, sir. So the skilled manpower today is anybody can be skilled, provided you go through a specific set of training schedule. The only additional thing what we are looking in here is if a person is tech savvy, because going ahead, a lot of technological things are going to come into the whole MRO activities. So yes, like AR, VR, you should be able to carry out servicing with augmented reality, somebody guiding you when you're sitting in and any advanced landing ground, somebody sitting the comfort of AC in Bangalore or for that matter Delhi, they should be able to guide you and you should be able to carry out those services. So as far as the skilled manpower is concerned, I I don't have any doubt there are a lot of skilled manpower. In fact, we provide skilled manpower to all across the world. That is one. The second question was
No, I'm second was now if defense of
certification. I got it, sir. So second question is we have a lot of skill. You can say the defense personnel, those who come out, and they can be effectively and gainfully utilized in the civil world, in the civil setup. So right in the beginning, we had one discussion wherein the harmonization of both the effort, where the regulatory body on the top, the DGCA and DGQA, how can they come up with one such course? Both can be trained, independently in silos.
what is the current system? Where is the gap?
The gap is when you're looking for a DGCA certified in any engineers you're looking for. Now, similar kind of course may be undertaken by a guy who is in defense personnel. Okay, so when he's coming out, you need to have one delta. First of all, the aircraft which is there in aircraft fighter transport, most of them in civil it is different aircraft. Okay, so first of all, the training for that particular type specific aircraft has to be done. If a guy is coming out from Jaguar, it doesn't carry any meaning when he's going to work on the Boeing or Airbus for that matter. So we have very limited number of aircraft like Dornier, BBJ, some of the helicopters like B-17 which is operating outside. So first of all, those number of aircraft which are operating and which can be directly, where the manpower from the defense personnel can be consumed in the civil are very, very limited. So what they need to do is, even though they work and then they get trained in silos, DGCA need to design one course, you can say Delta course, which will help the workforce transit into the civil world.
Yeah, you are seeing the challenge in one way. You see the vice versa. Suppose I have worked in the airlines, I have the 15 years of experience. I am technically sound, but I want to enter in the Air Force. Do you think that somebody will go to the Air Force? No.
So
I'm telling you, sir.
No, I just tell you we
let
have.
me complete, sir. Let me complete, sir. And as far your question is concerned, there are huge number of guys from the Indian defense. They are working with us. They are boss of us. They have taken the highest post in the airlines also. With the certification is that the certification, your experience is counted here. This is count your experience. You have to go through the papers. You have to qualify. That once you qualify the papers, you will become on the mainstream line, and you are getting all these things. But the vice versa is not right, sir. We can't go in from private to government. I don't think so.
So now give me an example. The
Yeah.
people who have worked in the Boeing in India, and if they have to come to the same Boeing here, are they allowed to move in direct?
Yeah, the direct. You are working in a Boeing. What you come again? If you are
Boeing
working
aircraft in India,
Yeah.
Indian Air Force.
Yes.
Can that technician move into civil and directly you do the maintenance?
Yes. If you have experience of the Boeing, they can come and join.
It's not permitted. It's not permitted. Even if whether you
No, only a refresher course or if you are talking about a license. I'm not telling you the license. You can't certify the aircraft of civil aviation. But as far as technician is concerned, you are welcome here. There is no restriction at all.
They don't know each other.
Since
They don't know
myself and Vijay Jha both worked as a senior aircraft maintenance engineer with the Jet Airways, I worked with Jet and Spice. So sorry for missing my introduction earlier. So as you said, sir, you worked as a technician in Boeing. You can straight away come and next day you can work in the airlines with 5 days or 4 days of the induction course. Okay, that is the first point. Second point, you want to certify the aircraft, that is not possible. Unless you are not trained in that particular type-rated aircraft, which asks for 2 years of experience, which has been logged in your logbook, you cannot sign that aircraft, sir. But once you have done a Boeing and you are converting into 320, will take hardly 3 months only for you to sign that aircraft. But the initial commercial aircraft signing required 2 years of experience, sir. I think I answered your question.
Thank you. With this, I think we'll have to close the session. Thank you once again. Yeah, so very quickly.
So, from defense side, right now, as indicated by our panelist here, there's a acute shortage of structural technicians. So, we have got in fact, in the Air Force or other wings of defense, there are expert people, but there are certain requirements which need to be done, like a delta related to understanding the SRM of commercial aircraft, or maybe a module requirement of some module requirement for Air Force people to do. So if DGQA and DGCA, not complete certification of aircraft, but for certain specialized work, if in defense there is a program after retirement or in fact before retirement, they do some training and make them eligible for employment somewhere. So if this kind of a course which can be conducted at the defense level for the people who are retiring, that delta can be done, and if they pass, that straight away such people can be employed in skilled job like structural repair. So those are the aspects which can be discovered and that can be implemented to have a better employment. Even a person working on the fighter aircraft, but some delta course is given on civil aviation aircraft. So moment they retire, they are ready for joining as a technician in the civil aviation sector, and also can do certification of the specialized job where it has been agreed by DC or DGQA to do that data course, get the certification at the defense facility only when they are conducting the employability courses. If that can be recognized and accepted, that will be a better pathway.
So my small question for Vijay Jha, Mr. Myself Vivek Kulkarni from Aviation Institute. What view, sir? Before that question, I would like to have a big round of applause for the Pranav sir and Vaibhav. They have organized the session like morning onwards. We are listening good sessions like women in aviation, convergence of civil and defense, and now it was like Group Captain Sanjay Shah sir told that this session should have been kept in morning. It was really a wonderful session, sir. Now my question is to Vijay Jha sir. You told that some drones are required for the maintenance persons like AAB and all. They can be brought up, but how can the AME learn the drone flying? Can they learn within a short span of the time? Because if it would have been possible, then DGCA will come into the pictures. We can introduce small course for the AMEs for the drone. So they can be piloted and also they can know about the AME factors.
Yeah, for your questions, that's a very important question you have asked. I'm seeing that drone as a tools to the technician's pocket or engineer's pocket. Don't see it will. I had some discussion over this issues that if the drone will carry the inspection, what will happen to the engineers and technicians? Their number will be reduced. You are losing the job. No boss. I am adding the tool to the toolkit of the engineers or the technician in a very intelligent way. You remember the days of computer when the computer came into the SPI, Jindabad, Murdabad, Jindabad, Murdabad. We all have listened that. Okay. Now, what is the status of this computer? Without computer, we can go anywhere. No. These are our needs of ours. Similarly, we are seeing this drone. Okay, as far as your specific question is concerned, we are conducting the pilot training course also. That is called remote pilot training organization. The qualification is very low, only 10th pass, having the English as a working knowledge, you can come. And there is a 5 to 6 days course, you come and join the course. And after a successful your completion of your theory and as well as the practical, you will be awarded with the pilot license that will be given by the DDC itself. Being aiming, I think it is an added advantage. When I went for that course now, half of them think that no, already are. What is this? We have a very long CR. We have an entire one aircraft rule 1937. We have 934, 1934 aircraft act. So many books. Here 48 pages. Can you believe it? So what a easy for that guy. Here we have a small basic aerodynamics. Basic aerodynamics. Okay. We have, you see that only 1/10 of the AME syllabus is the drone syllabus or the certification of the pilot. So I think it's quite easy for them to take the license. Only is the matter is the skill that can only be developed through the practices. That always need a practice. That's all. So there is no special anything. 5 days course. You are intelligent enough to clear all the course. That's all. Nothing else, sir. Everybody will learn it and you use it in the hangar. Only the regulator and the operator will give us the permission for that. That is the challenges and even the impact also, I can say.
Thank you, sir.
Finally, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, panelists. As an organizer, we are always in the crossroads and in the point blank range. We had to conduct the session on time, but unfortunately or fortunately, we cannot stop the enthusiasm of the crowd and the panelists, and it happened in a way it happened, so we let it grow naturally. Thank you so much, panelists. A wonderful round of applause for them. Even though they kept with their enthusiasm as if it is, it's the morning, it's the right day. So, with this, we are coming to the conclusion of this second edition of EAMRO 2023. A platform is powerful if it's useful in the right direction. Having platform such as this makes us responsible to equally share it with those who doesn't have it. The AVIAKUL Foundation and Center for Scientific Outreach always tries to give opportunities to those who deserve it. I request the founder of Antariksha India, Ishan Dubey, to share a few words about his journey. He and his team has all the way traveled from Chennai to ensure that the opportunity being shared is used in the right way. Mr. Ishant, if you can come on the stage. Mr. Ishant is doing a very great work at the grassroots level, educating a lot of children. And then when he has requested us 5 minutes of his time, it is not for himself, but to distribute certificates for his kids, to gain encouragement and to give them motivation on the stage. So it is as a responsible philanthropist or a responsible human, it gives me privilege to introduce Ishan. A round of applause, please.
Good evening to all. Myself is Shantave, as Sir has introduced. I am the founder and CEO of Antariksha India, and it is a NGO which is working in basically like as we are in the morning session we were talking about convergence. So it is working on that part. Like we are working in the 3 areas: education, environmental, and animal rights. So here under this education part, we are doing a lot of many activity as we have lack of time. So like we have conducted previously some of the free sessions for the kids. There we have selected some of the students, and I thought this would be a great platform to encourage them, motivate them. So they have come from like some of from Rajasthan and some of from Hyderabad. So this is a good platform, and I would like to thank you, AVIAKUL team. I would like to invite some of the panelists to just deliver this. This Miss Tanu Nama. So, she has secured actually. We have conducted like there's a classes for the Albert Einstein International Scholarship Test. So she secured the third rank into that. We have also conducted, there is a SINSME common entrance examination. Some of the scholars are absent, but we have Garvit Gupta from grade 9, who is the best performance of grade 9 overall. Next, we have Siddhant Bhardwaj from grade 7. He is a best academic performer overall 6, 7, 8, and 9th grade. Thank you so much.
Like every good thing comes to an end. We come to the end of this day one EAMRO 2023. And I invite Sri Vaibhav, Managing Director of Aviation Group of Companies, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Very good evening to what might already seem like a long day and long evening. We are already shot ahead by 1 hour almost. And I'm glad people are still sitting, people are still listening, and we just had a very engaging session. I would begin my vote of thanks by thanking our title sponsor, that's the Bharat University, our general sponsor, Vanna Aircraft Services Private Limited, our university partner, Moscow Aviation Institute, design partner, Tau Studio, knowledge partner, CSO, cultural partner, SITA, technical partner, Pasovit, in collaboration with industry partners from who are also some of my very good friends, AVZest, Zest Corporation, Charlie Foxtrot, Institute for Aviators, Ravindra Shrawat sir is sitting back there. Thank you so much for coming. The Pune PIAT, the Pune Institute of Aviation Technology. Bharat sir, thank you for coming all the way from Pune. Bharat Aerotech, our outreach partners, Aeronautical Society of India, Indian Women Pilot Association, BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Rotary Wing Society of India, Antriksh India, and finally our media partners, Aviation World, Aviation and Defense Universe, and 100 Knots. Now let me give you a brief history of it. When we did the first edition, we had only 4 partners. And I'm glad that in the next edition we have grown the list to 25. So it's a personal achievement. I call it as a personal achievement. It's been a long journey, long, humble journey. And I've had unwavering and unending support of a lot of people. If I start counting it right now, it's going to be another long evening. I don't want to extend the things as it is. I have a couple of announcements, and then we have the tea and snacks served hereafter. So, speaking of media, Vishalji is here. Aviation World has always been a great supporter. and we are very glad to announce that he has featured us on the cover of his next edition of the magazine. So I call upon him on stage to unveil the cover of the next edition. Shall we please? For the next announcement, I would request Shri Arpika Shiv sir to please come up on the stage. मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि we started our collaboration with Indian Aviation Academy last year with the event GSAC, and neither the last event, nor this event, nor any of the forthcoming events seem possible without the support of Arpika Shiv sir. So again, I would like you to welcome him with clapping hands. We would like to announce the second edition of Global Sustainable Aviation Conclave, which we held in the very same venue last year in October. And I would like Sir to speak a couple of words as closing remarks, and we'll unveil the announcement of this.
श्री वरुण जी और मेरे प्यारे साथियों, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पर जो हमारे EAMRO का इवेंट है, लोग काफ़ी दूर दूर से आए हुए हैं। चेन्नई से आए हैं, कोई मुंबई से आए हैं, एरोनॉटिकल सोसाइटी, रोटरी विंग, DGCA, एयरलाइंस। आज का ये जो सेशन है, इससे मुझे उम्मीद है कि हमने एक एनर्जी जनरेट की है अपनी इंडस्ट्री में। जैसे मैंने इनॉग्रेशन सेरेमनी में कहा था कि हमारा कंट्री बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहा है और MRO में भी हमें बहुत सारे काम करने हैं। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने, जैसा हमारे एक पैनलिस्ट ने बताया, काफ़ी इनिशिएटिव गवर्नमेंट ले रही है आज के टाइम में। और जहाँ तक भारत सरकार की प्रोसेस का सिस्टम है, आजकल कोई भी फिजिकल फाइल नहीं चलती है। एक हमारे पैनलिस्ट ने कहा था कि कुछ अभी फिजिकल फाइलें हैं, DG से टोटली ऑटोमेटिक डिजिटाइज हो चुका है। अभी वो जमाना चला गया कि फिजिकल फाइल चलती है। 9 मिनट्स में फाइल क्लियर होती है DGC में। आई हैव क्लियर्ड फाइल इन 9 मिनट्स। अर्लियर आई वाज हैंडलिंग ड्रोन डायरेक्टरेट, और मैं एक आपको एग्जांपल देता हूं कि आई वाज द फर्स्ट ड्रोन डायरेक्टर ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया। पहले हमारे यहाँ पर ड्रोन का आपने देखा होगा, ड्रोन स्वार्म होता था। तो एक सोक्राफ्ट कंपनी थी, मिस्टर गटानी उसके CEO थे। वो मेरे पास आए 2020 में कि साहब मेरे को एक ड्रोन का हरिद्वार में शो करना है। मगर ठीक है, आप कराइए, मगर आप इंडियन किसी कंपनी को देखिए। तो उन्होंने कहा सर हमारे भारत में तो ये कैपेबिलिटी है नहीं। देन मैंने बोला आप कल आइए। तो वो 2-3 दिन बाद फोन आए कि सर मेरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट निकल जाएगा, आप मुझे अप्रूवल दे दीजिए। तो एक फ्रांस की कंपनी थी, उनसे 200 ड्रोन्स का एक ड्रोन स्वार्म, उसमें भगवान शिव जी की मूर्ति गंगा के घाट पर करनी थी। उस समय मैंने उनको वो अप्रूवल दे दिया। उनका शो हुआ। उसके बाद वो सेकंड टाइम आए। मैंने उनको ये कहा भाई ये बार बार नहीं चलेगा आपका, आप इंडिया की किसी कंपनी को ढूंढिए। और ये होते होते मैंने उनको बहुत परेशान किया, यू कैन से। अल्टीमेटली सेकंड टाइम भी उन्होंने मंत्री साहब का कहीं से सिफारिश लगाया, हमने उनको सेकंड टाइम अप्रूवल दे दिया और मैंने ये कंडीशन लिख दी, नेक्स्ट टाइम इट विल बी डन बाय इंडियन कंपनी। और आज मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूंगा कि IIT दिल्ली की जो बॉट लैब डायनेमिक्स हैं, उन्होंने 350 ड्रोन्स का, वी आर नंबर 2 इन द वर्ल्ड, 350 ड्रोन्स का एक ड्रोन स्वार्म किया है, अयोध्या में किया है, हर जगह हो रहा है। एक कंपनी और आ रही है इसी में। तो अभी आई थिंक चाइना ने 530 ड्रोन्स का किया है और हमने 350 ड्रोन्स का किया है। वी आर मूविंग अहेड ऑफ ट्राइंग टू सेट अप द वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड। तो ऐसा नहीं है, गवर्नमेंट आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रही है। और ये जो सेमिनार है EAMRO भी इसी दिशा में एक हमने प्रयास कर रहे हैं। वैभव वरुण जी बड़ा अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। और जैसा मैंने शुरुआत में कहा कि इंडियन एविएशन एकेडमी में भी पहले कोई प्राइवेट इवेंट नहीं होते थे। जब ये पहली बार हमारे पास आए, सर ये यहाँ परमिशन मिलेगी या नहीं, तो मैंने कहा आप आइए, मिलेगी। बिकॉज आई एम गेटिंग सैलरी फ्रॉम द टैक्स पेयर मनी। My working principle is totally different. When somebody comes to me, I say, भाई आप कुछ प्रोडक्शन करते हैं, आप टैक्स देते हैं, then I get the salary. So my working is totally entirely different. I told them you will definitely be given permission. अभी बहुत सारी कंपनीज हमसे पूछते हैं कि क्या यहाँ, बिकॉज इससे पहले क्या होता था, यहाँ पर कोई भी प्राइवेट इवेंट अलाउड नहीं होता। और ये एक अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है, इट इज इकोनॉमिकल ऑल्सो। और मैं आपको ये भी बताते हुए मुझे बहुत खुशी होगी कि ये पूरे वर्ल्ड में 2 ही तरह की इस तरह की एकेडमी, सबसे पहले हमने इंडिया में बनाई थी इंडियन एविएशन एकेडमी, उसके बाद सिंगापुर ने इसकी कॉपी की है। देयर आर ओनली 2 Indian Aviation Academy in the world, first in India, second in Singapore. In France, do not have such academy. France delegation came here, they saw this is so sophisticated academy. So we are proud and अभी गवर्नमेंट का पूरा सपोर्ट है। हमारे प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने जो दिया है मेक इन इंडिया फॉर द वर्ल्ड, उसकी तरफ हमें करना है। आप एक चीज मैं और बताना चाहूंगा कि पहले क्या होता था, आप कुछ भी इन्वेस्टमेंट लेके आते हैं तो आपको बार बार डीजीसी का चक्कर लगाना पड़ता था मिनिस्ट्री। आजकल उल्टा होता है, भारत सरकार के अधिकारी आपसे पूछते हैं बताइए आप कब पूरा कर रहे हो प्रोजेक्ट, एवरीथिंग इज मॉनिटर ऑन द डैशबोर्ड। सो अभी थिंग्स हैव बीन चेंज्ड, दिस इज द राइट टाइम। अभी हमारी इकाऊ रैंकिंग भी बहुत हाई लेवल की गई है, वैभव जी को पता होगा। हम काफी हाई रैंकिंग 48 पे गए हैं, 122 के आसपास थी आई थिंक। तो और वी आर दी वन ऑफ दी लीडिंग मार्केट, थर्ड इन दी वर्ल्ड। मैं वैभव जी को इस तरह का प्रोग्राम करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ और सभी ऑडियंस को भी चाहूँगा जिन्होंने इतना इसकी शोभा बढ़ाई। और उम्मीद है कि इससे हमारी इंडस्ट्री को, हमारे देश को बहुत ही फायदा होगा। वी आर डिलाइटेड टू हैव यू। धन्यवाद।
At the end, all these conferences, all these seminars, all these workshops are done for the benefit of the nation. So I would rightly like to end this conference by requesting you to stand up for the national anthem, and then we disperse for the snacks. Thanks. now disperse for tea and snacks, and people who are waiting for group photograph can always come to the stage.